It's TMNT time! Hello, welcome to another figure review. Today we're gonna have a look at the Neca Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Traag and Granitor. If you smell what the rock soldiers from Dimension X are cooking. I'm beyond excited. You know why? Because we've never gotten Granitor and we've only gotten Traag in the original Playmates line all the way back in the 90s. Ever since then, nothing. No representation of these two rock dudes. So I'm really excited. Let's get into the review. So the first thing I must say is that they're not stable at all. So that out of the way. Yeah, just had to. It's kind of getting into pose is a bit annoying. He stands for Traag at about 17 centimeters to the top of his head, which means we're going up to 6.5 inches tall. For Granitor, I feel like he's a little bit more stable, but then again, you know, I talk about stability, but they're big and bulky, so I'm not even hating on it. It's just weird. 18 centimeters, not even weird, just annoying. And 7.1 inch to the top of the head. For your size comparisons, we have here's Jolter, Super 7 Leonardo, SH Figure Arts Raph, Neca Donatello, and Darkseid. Oh, look in detail, I want to have a look at Granitor first. And the first thing is the line work. Because there's a lot of it, and just like with Metalhead, Neca really stepped up their game when it comes to that. It is clean, it is good, it doesn't really go over the line as much, it's not as bleedy and just kind of clumsy in some releases I had. It looks really good, but that's not all about the figure. I just really impressed by the small line work, which they've done perfectly. That sculpt looks really menacing. He has the long, fairly sharp nose, and especially the line work makes the eyes, the yellow eyes, pop, and the helmet with the color line going around all throughout it. And the entire mold just really looks great. Blocky, a little bit rounded, but not too much. The only thing I find a little bit laughable is his shoulders are connected over there, and you can see the seam line, and it's just like, why did you do that? Why did they mold it like that? Is that like Traag body or no? It is different, so yeah, it's just a really weird thing, and it kind of bothers me a little bit. Does have a medal on the chest, the belt with the gun holsters, some shells, and some pouches in the back. Back to the paint though real quick. Now, here's the thing you can take in and look at it however way you like. The lighter parts of the rock body are not clean. You can tell there's tons of little spots where the paint, where the dark gray is bleeding through. Now, I don't really mind it. Honestly, it makes it look a little bit more dirty. It kind of sort of is a weathering effect, and I don't think that was planned, so it is still a quality control issue, but as I'm saying, I'm not really bothered by it. Also, there's like texturing on it that makes it really look like a rock. And even like the joints, which aren't painted, they don't stand out too much because they still molded it in kind of like a rocky texture. So that's kudos, really good idea. Other than that, you have the classic two-tone cartoon look on these guys. I say classic, but by this point, Neca has done it for all the Toon Turtles. You have like the light gray in the front, and on the back, everything is a lot more darker gray. All throughout the figure, which gives it a really great look, and depending on how you rotate it around, depending on how you pose them, makes it stand out even that much more, especially in the boots. So yeah, it's a nice piece. As for Traag, a lot of the same can be said again. Line work is phenomenal. I have zero complaints about it. I mean, it does get, I guess, a little thick around the chest area, but I'm not complaining about it. It's really just a minor issue. For like an overall very good looking package. Same thing as you can tell with the coloring. You have like lighter spots which don't really cover up so well, unfortunately. And yes, you also have the two-tone coloring of like the brighter, a little bit orangey, and then going to a bit more brown. Now with Traag, I feel like it's a bit more random. Usually it goes to the back of the figure. He has some on the side over here, some on the leg over there. I don't really know. It's weird. He does have the nice lightning symbol and his holster for the gun and some bullet shells going all the way around it with some little pouches even in the back. Now as for the face sculpt, old Traag here looks a lot more derpy. I don't know what's up with this expression. It's still kind of menacing with the eyes and whatnot. He has the big nose and the rocky texturing in the face, but still like, just like, duh. What is up with that? Helmet has a nice green, and it does have some battle damage on there, which, for whatever reason, Granitor had none of that. And I'm kind of wondering if it's intentional, if it's leftover plastic, but it looks too good to just be an accident, right? Right. Overall articulation is mostly the same. There are some small differences, which I have a look at, but I'm gonna start off with Traag. You have 2 points of articulation in the head and the neck. The head itself is pretty nimble, rotates all the way around, back and forward. But to be fair, the neck doesn't really do that much. There's just a little bit of wiggle motion and rotation in it, and that's about it. For your shoulder articulation, you have a big hinge, which is packed into the chest area. As such, it moves up all the way, and it rotates also all the way around. You got the double hinged elbow. Now, note that you can only bring it up this far if you're lining up the shoulder itself, because you can also rotate it around, but you will get less articulation at some points where you don't have as much room. Also, forearm rotates. The hand is on a hinge, so you can bring that back and forth. Rotation. The chest area has some wiggle motion, goes back and forward, and does tilt side to side. Also rotates to the side, and I guess you kind of could get it all the way around if you give it a good push, but I mean, this is more than enough for me. There's a swivel in the hips. Leg moves forward, moves out to the side, and moves to the back. Can rotate on the thigh. Simple hinge in the knee. Same for the knees, you can only bring it up if you adjust it to this point where you have more room. Otherwise, you're not really going to get much out of it. Also rotates all the way around. And the foot is on another hinge, so you can bring that forward to the back and does tilt side to side all the way. Now really the only thing different for Granitor is the neck, because it is longer, so you can bring that forward, and they have left a lot of room in there, and then you have another hinge at the head. It's kind of hard to move it around, and also it's a very, very small neck, so I'm kind of afraid to break it off. Be careful with it. And the only other part I feel is different is the shoulder. It is the exact same hinge, however, you can rotate the entire ball hinge around and also rotate the arm around. As such, if you rotate, let's say, the hinge all the way up there, you can have some forward movement, which you don't really have with Traag. For your accessories, you got some wanted neutrino cards, which are completely see-through. It is pretty cool, made out of a sturdy material, and it is probably the best thing they can make out of the neutrinos is wanted cards, because I don't like the neutrinos. Have you ever looked at my TMNT collection? I made a video about it. There's not a single neutrino in it. You know why? Because I don't like them. Not because they were inexpensive, but yeah. They have those see-through cards. It's a nice thing. Again, the best thing you can make out of neutrinos is cards, because I don't really want figures. But then again, if Neca does figures, do I pick up neutrinos then? Maybe. You have an ooze canister, just in the gray variant. I think it's an ooze canister. What else would it be? If I'm wrong about this one, yell at me in the comments. Then you have 2 blasters with some nice light and dark blue, some line work on it. Overall fun stuff. Pew pew. And then finally you have the phone. I'm just calling it the phone right now. It probably has a different name. There's a picture of Krang in it, and the paint job is good for the most part. Considering it is very small, the line work again shines, glows, blinds me. I'm ecstatic about it. Unfortunately, we don't have any hands. I finally got him into pose! Woo! Final thoughts. But before I do, actually, one more thing. The only way I can put one of the neutrino cards in somebody's hand is with Granitor's right hand. Traag does not hold it whatsoever, but they do hold the blaster and whatnot, so even though we don't have any selection of hands, it still gets the job done. Final thoughts! Now actually, the molds of these guys are great. The paint job is damn good, except for the lighter parts in the rock, which it unfortunately has some weird bleeding, which I already mentioned. I'm not really bothered by it. The articulation is good, considering they're big and bulky. Yes, I know I'm whining about the problems of getting him into pose, but they're really big. I just kind of wish, like, the legs, especially the legs, are a bit wobbly. I wish that was a bit more sturdy. That would have helped, but as it is forgivable. That, you know, design-wise, looking at it, I'm understanding that it's kind of hard to balance these big, chunky guys. And finally, the accessories are kind of lackluster. I mean, I like the neutrino cards. It's a nice addition to it. goes with the theme. You got the blasters, but you know, you don't have hands, and you don't have a huge weaponry like other selections of guns or whatnot. So in that regard, it's kind of lame. But again, going back to the point, like they're big, they're bulky, lots of plastic goes into it. So it is to be expected that they really cut down on accessories and focus on delivering a good figure. And I agree with that. So as such, it is a pretty good outing for the Rock Soldiers. I wish it was better. Could have been a little bit better, but as it is, I still think this set is rock solid. I'm so not funny. But anyway, yes, I will recommend these guys because they're still very good figures despite some flaws here and there, because nobody's perfect. That's gonna do it, guys. As usual, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this review, hit it up with a like and subscribe to the channel so you can stay tuned for more figure reviews, card game stuff, and whatever Traag and Granitor wants. Some more hats.